if you're a student that actually keeps on getting distracted and wanting better focus and better productivity and better performance when it comes to studying, then this mini lesson is for you. Hey everybody, it's Dr. Hugo here. So today we're going to talk about this number one thing to achieve peak study performance for you. And this particular thing that I really have covered as one of the main concepts in my Top 10 Study Secrets webinar. If you haven't checked it out, make sure that you would go over there. It's a free webinar, sign up and you will learn a lot. And this particular student, and I get these emails every single day. So 𝐶𝐤𝐿 is currently a 16-year-old, currently in year 12. And actually she found particularly in the webinar that study efficiency curve helped a lot. And this is a common email that I receive on a daily basis. And a lot of students really don't think about it because school teaches us what to study but not how to study. This is Inside Study Smarter Academy, and all these videos is really teaching you the things that school should have taught us how to study and more as well. So, and also talking about the webinar was very good, and can't think of anything at the moment that could improve because I'm always looking for the things that you want to learn, and I really want to incorporate it so people can access to this as well. And all of these study tips, in particular this one, would be very, very helpful. So let's dive right into this and actually talk about the number one thing, which is covered in the webinar as well. So this particular concept of the study efficiency curve, or called the SEC, study efficiency curve, where we've got productivity on one axis going up. The higher it is, the better it is, the productivity, right? As we go through down below here, we've also got the time as well. As time progresses, what would happen to our productivity? So typically this is what happens as we actually go and warm up and sit down and study. Our productivity slowly increases. So as we warm up, as we get into the zone, for example, the first about 15 to 30 minutes, this is where our productivity slowly climbs. And a lot of time this is where a lot of people trip up. For example, in this warm-up zone in particular, people would actually get distracted. Every 5 minutes their phone would go off and they would check a notification, and then they would actually go and scroll on Instagram, they would scroll TikTok, whatever it is that you're doing, and then they'll be like, okay, wait, what was I doing? And then they would actually end up starting to warm up all over again. So they actually go on this endless loop of starting and going and starting and going, actually not really achieving that peak performance. But occasional state that where you actually go past this 30 minutes, actually there are no distractions at all, you actually continue to focus. This is what really happens. Your productivity climbs almost 2 to 3 times into this, what I call this productivity zone, or people sometimes refer to this flow state, where your time perception, your space perception, the room falls away. You're actually just focusing on the task on hand and nothing else really matters. But as this time kind of passes by, what really happens is that because our brain, our human minds, they're not designed to actually focus on hours on end. And what really happens is that you start to reach out what this I call the burnout phase. And again, this is probably what we're talking about, 1 to 1.5 hours of time. People start to lose focus, they start to get distracted. But a lot of students, particularly crammers, they stay in this burnout zone for a long time. And what ends up happening is that they force themselves to study hours on end. There's this particular category of students that does this. They will sit down for 4, 5, 6 hours in the library and force themselves to study, but they get really distracted because they have reached this burnout phase. So what happens when you extend beyond 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours is you're actually not getting much done, but you're actually sitting there. So effectively you might be just throwing all that time away. You might as well be going somewhere else, enjoying yourself, refresh yourself, and come back to it. And the most important key is to get as many of these productivity zones in the middle by actually getting past the warm-up phase and actually getting into that flow state or the productivity zone, for example. And then as you realize and recognize, as you understand your body better, you need to understand that this burnout zone happens. And when that happens, just go and take a break, reward yourself for actually reaching that productivity zone, getting things done, and be kind to yourself and actually go away and do something that's relaxing, refreshing, and you can come back again and try to reach this productivity zone all over again. The more you can fit in these productivity zones, the better and the more efficient you are at reaching your peak study performance. So hopefully, as a prompt from Kazuha, really derived this mini lesson and actually taken a snippet out of my webinar as well. If you haven't checked out our webinar, make sure to check it out. It's in our bio, it's in the description below in the comments. Make sure to sign up because these top 10 study secrets are free as well. A lot of students have benefited from this and actually improved their grades by a lot, and also have been studying less with implementing these study secrets as well. So make sure to check that out. So hopefully we've talked about this number one thing to achieve peak study performance, and we've talked about the study efficiency curve, talked about actually trying to get past the warm-up phase. Don't get stuck by getting distracted again and again in the warm-up phase, and getting into the productivity zone, as many of these as possible. And don't go through the pitfall of being in the burnout zone forever and ever and ever, and actually extending this forever and actually not achieving a lot. That is actually opposite of working smarter or studying smarter. You're actually studying harder but not getting a lot done. So hopefully this mini lesson has been helpful for you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.